Well, friends, in the Venezuelan deportation litigation, it looks like the next stop for the Trump administration might just be contempt of court. Let's talk about that because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, Judge James Boasberg, the judge presiding over the litigation involving the likely unconstitutional deportation of Venezuelan immigrants and whether the Trump administration intentionally violated his court orders to turn the damn planes around, it looks like Judge Boasberg has had about enough of the BS arguments of the DOJ lawyers. And now, contempt is on the table. Let's start with the new reporting. This from ABC News. Headline, Judge Boasberg says he's contemplating contempt proceedings over Trump deportations. And that article begins, nearly 3 weeks after President Donald Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to remove more than 200 alleged migrant gang members to El Salvador with little to no due process. I'm going to say, based on everything we've learned, no due process. My editorial edition. Little to no due process. A federal judge will consider whether the Trump administration defied his court order by deporting the men. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg said at a hearing Thursday that he is contemplating initiating contempt proceedings against the government, the Trump administration, in the event he finds probable cause they deliberately defied his March 15 order that barred removals under the Alien Enemies Act and directed 2 flights carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members be returned to the United States. Boasberg questioned DOJ attorney Drew Ensign over the best way to proceed in the case in the event he, the judge, determines the government, the Trump administration, violated his verbal order that the flights be returned to the U.S. Quote, if I don't agree, I don't find your legal arguments convincing, and I believe there is probable cause to find contempt, what I'm asking is how should I determine who is at fault? Judge Boasberg asked. Boasberg repeatedly pressed the attorney, Ensign, for more information on which parties might have been involved in potentially defying his order. Ensign cited various privileges that might apply to the specific information, but when pressed by Boasberg, he, the DOJ lawyer, said he was not prepared to give specific answers. Judge Boasberg said he would look to issue a ruling sometime next week. The judge began the hearing by dressing down the attorney, Ensign, after the DOJ lawyer insisted that the Trump administration complied with Boasberg's court order. The judge saying, quote, it seems to me there is a fair likelihood that that is not correct, Judge Boasberg said, in response to the argument that the Trump administration complied with the order. Quote, in fact, the government acted in bad faith throughout that day. You really believe everything you did that day was legal and could survive a court challenge? I can't believe you ever would have operated in the way you did. Judge Boasberg used his opening line of questioning to ensure DOJ attorney Ensign corrected the record amid public attacks by President Trump and other senior members of the administration who have accused him, the judge, of supporting terrorist gang members or single-handedly obstructing the administration's immigration agenda. Now, friends, I want to switch over to some great reporting by Kyle Cheney of Politico, who was in court reporting in real time what was happening in Judge Boasberg's courtroom, specifically when Judge Boasberg opened by basically extracting the truth from this DOJ lawyer, truth that contradicted the BS that Donald Trump has been spouting. This is beautiful. Get this. Judge Boasberg began the hearing by ticking through a set of undisputed facts, with the Trump administration lawyer agreeing to each. These quotes from the judge, quote, "My TROs, my temporary restraining orders, did not order any gang member to be released from custody." And the DOJ lawyer agreed. "My temporary restraining orders did not prevent the government, the Trump administration, from apprehending any gang member." And the DOJ lawyer agreed. The TROs, the temporary restraining orders, the judge noted, also did not bar the administration from deporting any gang member through other well-established processes. And the DOJ lawyer agreed. What did that do? It put the lie to Donald Trump's claims regarding what Judge Boasberg had done. It's a beautiful thing when Trump's own DOJ lawyers have to go into court and fess up that Trump is a great big liar. The reporting continues. Judge Boasberg was drilling down on who he should speak to if he decides he wants to hold contempt proceedings. The judge wanted to know who declined to convey his order to the pilots to turn the planes around. And then Judge Boasberg took the DOJ attorneys to task on this absurd claim that they can't tell him anything because it would reveal state secrets. Really? Judge Boasberg wants to know whether any information the Trump administration says is covered by the state secrets privilege is classified information, and the DOJ attorney Ensign says he's not aware that anything is classified. Judge Boasberg said he's unaware of any case in which state secrets privilege was invoked to cover unclassified information. Boasberg actually went so far as to say, it's pretty sketchy looking that DOJ won't even share information with me in a classified facility or under seal, which happens all the time, the judge notes. Friends, it's pretty clear. Judge Boasberg is playing chess while the DOJ lawyers are like rummaging around in their games closet, looking for a checkerboard to pull out. They're not even in the game, tactically speaking. But this is what the work of a co-equal branch of government looks like. This is what checks and balances look like. This is what an honest, ethical, fair, impartial, independent judge looks like. One who is loyal to the rule of law and to the Constitution, and who's not afraid to hold accountable a president who is loyal to neither. So what happens next? We're all waiting to see what happens when this litigation now moves to the contempt phase. And we're going to be talking about contempt, I'm sure, in the days to come. There's civil contempt, there's criminal contempt. Civil contempt usually involves imposing money fines, often to encourage administration officials to do the right thing, to come in compliance with court orders. But look, that horse has left the barn. These orders were violated. The Venezuelan immigrants were unconstitutionally deported. So it may be that Judge Boasberg leaps right to criminal contempt. We'll know that in the days to come. And before anybody is ever held in contempt, that person will enjoy their constitutionally guaranteed due process rights of notice and opportunity to be heard. And friends, does it qualify as irony that the very due process rights that were violated before the government stuffed those Venezuelan immigrants into a plane and sent them to a prison in El Salvador, their constitutional rights of notice and opportunity to be heard were violated, were ignored by the Trump administration? Does it qualify as irony that now the Trump administration officials who may have intentionally defied those court orders issued by Judge Boasberg, those officials will enjoy their constitutional due process rights of notice and opportunity to be heard before they're ever held in contempt of court. And that is the way it should be. Because even for lawless Trump administration officials, justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.